All right. Hey, everyone. I'm Michelle Lopez Boggs. Welcome to Unconventional Marketers, How Top Entrepreneurs Start Small and Profit Big Without Conventional Marketing. Today, my guest is Kota Westbrook. Kota is a videographer who built a creative content agency that helps brands and companies create an online social presence with captivating video content. His company specializes in creating short form content, less than 60 seconds, that grabs attention and brings new eyeballs to your brand or business. His goal is to help his clients consistently create a month's worth of video content in just 2 hours using only their camera phone. Based in San Diego, California, Kota took his company from 0 to 250,000 in 1 year by helping his clients triple or quadruple their monthly sales. He's worked with the Dr. Phil Show, Billie Jean is Marketing, Entrepreneur.com, Huffington Post, Jeff Sinelli, owner and founder of Wich Sandwiches, Wes Watson of Watson Fit, Forbes Magazine, Inc. Magazine, and many more. So welcome, Kota.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, Michelle. Thank you so much. That was an amazing intro. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's an amazing bio. So so this show is all about unconventional marketing. So you and I talked before this, and you were telling me about how you got started. So take us back to like when you first started your business, you had no customers, no clients, no income. Before you even made your very first sale, what was your experience like back then? And like, give us a Cliff Notes version of how you went from that to where you are today.
Yeah, definitely. So we have to go back a little far back. So back around like 2012, I graduated high school in 2013. And I was always that kid with the camera in high school, right? I just really appreciated like capturing moments and telling stories that my friends will always have, right? This is like when social media was still like on the rise. It still wasn't where it was yet, where it is today. So I was like that kid with the camera. I just enjoyed doing it. And I love hanging out with my friends. I played football my whole entire life growing up. And during the off seasons when there was like no more Friday night games, I would stay home and like teach myself to edit. I would just go on YouTube and just watch all the tutorials that I could do. I would watch these movies and just figure out like, how do they do this, and watch tutorials. So like, I didn't go out and really party with like my friends, like the high school experience. I was really just in kind of a den like this, just constantly on my computer wanting to grow the craft. And after high school, I went to a college for a semester. And that's where I was trying to figure life out. I was like, is this my route? Do I need to go to school for this? I don't know. But I always knew filming and creating videos was always there for me. But I was like, my first semester in college, I said, hey, let's get you a real estate license. Let's go run with that, because I have people in my family that are real estate. So I did that for a year. That wasn't my calling. So I went back to a little bit of video, just kind of messing around, doing weddings and whatever. And then I was like, this isn't it. Let's try something a little bit better. Let's maybe become an EMT. So I went to the EMT school, got certified, did that whole thing before clinicals. I got like a job to go travel and be a video person. So I was a real estate agent. I was an EMT. I was a electrician. I was trying to figure my stuff out, what I really wanted to do, but it always fell back to video. So I was blessed to be able to travel around the country in the United States and work with this guy named Andrew Metal. We would interview all these entrepreneurs like DJ Khaled, Nipsey Hussle, a whole bunch of people, the owner and founder of Catch LA. And it was just a great experience. And that was like my first feeling of like listening to all these entrepreneurs, and like, that's the route I wanted to go. And that's when I kind of just started really, in a way, that's where I started making more money when it comes to like doing the video stuff.
That's awesome. And the part that jumped out at me is you didn't go to parties. So like, how did you get that mindset? Is that something you learned, or you're just naturally like that? Because a lot of people at that age would like waste time and go do crazy shit. And then, I would just end up wasting a lot of time basically.
Yeah, no, I was raised around like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, like growing up. So I always thought it was like boring when we would go on like vacations on the drive, and like my mom would always put it on in the car. And I was just like, it always just kind of stuck with me, the things that they said. And then I'd eventually start listening more and more the older I got. of course, I did go party. I still had my fun times in high school, but when my friends were always inviting me, I was like, I'm going to stay home and do this. And they just didn't understand why. But I think it was just from like an early age, maybe with my family surrounding, they're always just do what you love, and just follow that passion. And that's what it was, is having a camera and editing.
Awesome. And now today you tell people like what you actually do. So I know that you edit videos and like
Yeah.
what else?
Yeah. So simply all I do, I have a lot of clients, and all I simply do is I create short form video contents for all their social media platforms. So they get more eyeballs to get more clients or customers for their products or service. And that's it. It's videos less than 60 seconds that we can push out 5 days a week, sometimes on weekends too, but Monday through Friday, and get it pushed out to all platforms where it just multiplies and getting eyes on them. And it's nothing like you have to pay for it, right? You don't have to pay like how you do for paid ads for Facebook. So it's just creating content.
Okay. And why is it so important for it to be that short?
Because right now in this day and age, people like attention spans are very short. And it's simple as that. That's where things are right now. I'm not saying people sometimes argue against like, well, people watch long movies. I'm like, of course they do. I'm not saying it's not a big thing to like still make long form content, but I believe that short form content is what people are used to, and capitalizing on that short form is amazing because the turnaround time for short form, if I said, hey, Michelle, you're just going to make a 16-second video today, that's all you have to do, a 60-second video. And then you could get that on 4 different platforms and multiply in one day. That's what I mean. It's all about short form.
Yeah. And you don't even have to get it perfect. You can like do a 10-second video here and a 31 there and like splice it together. That's what I did with you. And you like just put it all together and it came out 60-second ad that worked great. Right.
That's it,
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how would you define marketing? What is marketing?
Marketing is definitely, I think of eyeballs, right? You're just getting your eyeball, the right eyeballs to what your products or services of what you're trying to sell or provide, And right now in this day and age, it's so much free marketing. It's so much free content. So I guess to answer that better, marketing equals content for me. Self-made content, real, organic, authentic content.
Okay. And what's been the most profitable form of marketing for your own business?
Yeah, great question. So for my own business, right now, it's referrals. And the reason I'm going to tell you that is because I realized that I also work at Billie Jean as marketing, which was a blessing. I loved it. And I learned so much about marketing using Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube ads. And that helped my business a lot in the beginning. Right now, it's very expensive to acquire a customer. And so I was like, okay, I could still use running ads as a tool in my arsenal, but what am I going to do that is that will save money, but also I know it's going to work well for me, and it's a referral base. But the way I look at it is, I find these clients that I work with, I really enjoy working with, but they're higher end clients. I'm not like kind of going for the low end price range. I'm more going for the high end because I know I have to offer them. And once I have them hooked, right, I know I have that whole warm market on top of that. I can just go to those people. Hey, man, do you know anyone else that needs my service? And then it's a yes, of course I do. This person right here, they don't know how to start content. So for me, marketing is branding myself in that right way and getting referrals.
Yeah, absolutely. And what do you think it is that makes people want to refer you to them or vice versa? Like, what is it that creates that referral?
Yeah, definitely. It's the first touch. And what I mean by that is, when I go after a client, especially like a higher end client that I'm like, I want to work with this person, but some people might feel intimidated by that. Excuse me, like, how do you approach them? How do you do that? What's the most important thing to people that are up in that scale of business entrepreneurship that you want to be with? It's bringing value to them. So how do you do that? You work for free in a way. So what I personally do is I would create short form content, maybe 1 or 2 pieces, and I would DM them and say, hey, my name's Kota. We've met before, or we haven't met before. And I just want to say, hey, I followed you. I love the way you talk. The value you bring people for free is amazing. So what I want to do right now, I just want to send you this. I made this for you. Bam. It's a short form content, has text and all that kind of stuff that they can use on their socials. And then I say, this is what my company specializes in. And if you're interested in making more short form content where it's super easy and seamless and it's on schedule, hit me up and I'll leave it. And so far, every single top entrepreneur that I've been trying to reach and think, they get back to me and I say, hey, I appreciate what you're doing, because you didn't say, hey, can I pick your brain? You didn't say, hey, can I just get on a phone call with you? Like whatever, like I'm an entrepreneur doing this. That wasn't it. I brought value right away and said, this is what I made for you. You didn't ask me to, but here it is. So that like kind of sparked someone in their mind where like, wow, this person, I wanted to talk to him, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So creating something of value, giving it away for free. And how does somebody know if something is valuable or not? What are the key indicators of, oh, this is
Yeah.
valuable?
Right. Something I find valuable, you might not find valuable. So the word valuable is different to everybody. So if something valuable means like to an influencer, it's all about getting views and followers. That's cool. But if you're an entrepreneur and you get all these views and followers, what does that do? You have recognition, but if you don't have a great CTA or something to follow up with, you're trying to what? Bias, have them, you're trying to sell a service or a product. But if you don't know how to sell that, then you're not doing it valuable. That's not the value of that. So it's finding what value is to you and making sure that connects with what you're trying to do in your mission of your company. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And so you also mentioned being real in your content, your marketing. Why is it important for somebody to be 100% who they truly are in their content?
Yeah. So being authentic is one of the number one things you have to be doing right now. You see it a lot on social media. There's people that grab your attention because maybe they have a shaved head, pink hair, tattoos on their face, and they're screaming out and calling out like boxing matches to these people of like celebrities. That's going to capture attention. That's cool. But if that's not who they authentically are, that might spike for 15 minutes of fame, but most people don't know how to handle that stuff, right? So if you're being not authentic of who you are, you're going to fizzle out. But if you stay 100% authentic of who you are long term, you're going to want to be creating more content, even if it means slowly getting followers, 5-10 new followers a week, which is still a good increase, but you're getting the right people following you, right? And if you're being authentic, those are the people that really enjoy your content, and you're being yourself. So there's no reason that you have to be something that you're not, because long term you'll just fizzle out and you're just going to be done.
Yeah. Do you find that a lot of your clients have difficulty being authentic? Like, is that something people struggle with a lot?
It's funny. Yeah. So being authentic it's different being on camera. When you're new to being on camera, people kind of shell up and just don't know how to talk and blah, blah, blah. And I've met so many great people. They're so like, they have that really outgoing personality, but once they hit record, they're just like, yeah, my name's
Yeah,
Jack.
you have a robot.
Yeah, they just
I
get
did
so
that.
shy. And I'm like, and that's the thing, it takes practice, right? And once you get that muscle memory and you're like, oh, this is just creating content. Like if you're just shooting it for a friend, which is a huge tip when you're making content, make sure just feel like you're talking to a friend, you know? But yeah, with clients, they sometimes get stuck in their brain of like, or stuck in their shell when I'm like, oh, man, like, I can't wait for you to really be who you are, because you're just nervous now, but you'll eventually break out of that. And it just takes practice. And they eventually do. And I'm like, okay, there we go. We get through that. And I just talk them through it. But another authentic thing is some people try to chase a specific niche where it goes against the grain of what I'm trying to help them with. So for some people, they have their niche is fitness, right? But they want to be fitness, and that's what they're known for. That's what people hire them for, and all this kind of stuff. But then the only content they push out is on like motivational speaking. So it's kind of like motivational speaking is a niche in itself, and that's very hard to get into because not a lot of people type in like motivational speeches. Listen, but people come across, if you're a fitness influencer, you want to kind of just show what you have to offer within the fitness world or anything like that, make a whole bunch of how-to videos because you already know what you're talking about. You're an expert in it. And that's what people are searching for: how to lose weight, how to make healthy food taste good, like all these things compared to motivation for this Monday. You know what I mean? So that's the pull of being authentic, but also trusting the process.
Yeah, that's interesting. And so switching gears a little bit, do you use a funnel in your own business?
Yeah. I somewhat, not like some people like ClickFunnels, like Russell and all them, like the big people, how they have their real funnels. I don't really have a product at the moment. So I'm not really trying to funnel people in. Like I told you before, I'm more referral based because I like that warm market. It's so much easier for me to say, hey, blah, blah, blah. Like, do you know someone that needs my product or service? And they say, yes, I do. Cool. Do you mind introducing me? No problem. And then there's a warm hit and it's so much easier. Oh, you work with this guy already? Of course, let's talk. Compared to if I'm doing a paid ad and getting that funnel, it's a completely, usually a cold market. And I have to sell myself even more, which takes time, you know? So right now it's like, I don't have like a number one funnel. So it's me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so do you think about the customer journey? Is that something you even consider?
What do you mean by that?
So like with funnel marketing, I know that people like analyze, okay, this customer is at this stage of awareness, so we send them this content, or this customer is a little bit more advanced, so we send them this content. It all has to do with like email autoresponders and like complicated little ways of, sending them the information. So I'm guessing you don't even consider that, or
Right now, no. I vet everyone that I talk to, right? I want to make sure that they're serious. I have plenty of experience in the beginning where people are like, let's sign up, let's run it. I'm so excited to do it. Then they don't send me any content. And it's like, okay, how much money is your company making in revenue each year? Well, about like $20,000. I'm like, okay, like good. That's good. If that's where you're at, awesome. But being able to afford that social media push right now at the moment, it's probably not going to work out. But for me to vet every single person, that's tough. So for me, like taking that, the experience of the customer, that's why I already have that warm market of like, I know that they can do this because I know what they're selling and how big they are. And that's where I kind of just focus to, you know, but what I've always said this, and I've probably mentioned it a couple times on here, is I always love to bring value. Right. So if someone comes to me and says, hey, like my company made $15,000, $20,000 last year, I just say, great, awesome, good for you. Not everyone can do that. Right. What do you need from me at the moment? And then I just ask them. I don't care if we don't sign up as a client. I just want to guide them in the right direction of what they could be doing, even without my help. Are they doing this? Are they recording something every single day? Are they have a backlog of all this content that they can refurbish and do things like that? So I love breaking down to things where if they're not going to be personally my client, it's still pushing them in that right direction. So maybe in the future, they're like, oh, I'm making more money now. I think I might go back to Kota to see what he's going to help me with, since he was super nice and just pushed me in that direction, you know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is really interesting because it's showing me that different people can build their business in different ways. Like I know some people are like, everyone needs to have a funnel and everyone needs to consider the customer journey. And you shouldn't only rely on referrals. And it's like, it's really unique to each person, I think. Like it's what you want to do and what works for you and like making it work. So that's my theory on that. But that's really interesting. And going back to paid ads, who do you think is someone who should be running a paid ad? Like, should everybody do it? Do they need to have certain things in place before they do that? Who needs to be running ads?
Yeah. So like I said in the beginning, running ads is a tool in your arsenal. You shouldn't, like how people say you shouldn't depend on referrals. I wouldn't depend on paid ads at all. Right now, it's so expensive to acquire a customer. It's not what it was 5 years ago, especially during COVID, everyone hopped on it and now it's super expensive. But not saying don't do it. There's different tools and arsenals that you need to do. Is referral the number one thing I use at the moment? Yeah, because it's working. So why change it? But do I still run ads? Of course I do, but I don't have to keep focusing on putting money into it. So it's a great tool to have, but no, like you should have different things of getting clients. And that's what I say. I have so many clients that just after doing their content and pushing content out, even people that I didn't get to like work one-on-one with, they've come back to me and said, like, that thing that you just told me, I had like 50 views on one video, but I got a client from that. It wasn't 100,000 views, 40,000 comments. It was 10 to 20 views and they got one client off of that for like $2,500 a month recurring. So that's success and valuable. So there's all the tools that you have to use, but I'm not saying don't do marketing or paid ads, but it should be a tool, but not rely on it.
Yeah. And so if someone's sitting there and they're like trying to figure out if they should run a paid ad or if they should do this or that tactic or strategy, like what is the best way for them to make that decision? And then like, how should they decide who to listen to? Because there's tons of coaches out there. Like, how does someone just be like, okay, this person knows what they're doing, they can help me, and then they hire them, but maybe it doesn't work. Like, what do you think people should, how do you think they should approach that if they're trying to make that kind of decision?
So how they should approach it if they're trying to make a paid ad, like run on Facebook?
If they're trying to decide even what to do with their business, they're like, I don't even know where to find the people, like, where should I start? And maybe they've got like 5 to 10 different ideas on what to do. Like, how do you think they should make that decision? Like, how do they figure out what's the right decision?
I'm kind of
that wasn't on the list of questions.
No, I want because I do want to answer that. I want to explain that maybe one more time.
Yeah. So like someone who's just super confused, and let's say they're talented, but they just don't know how to get those eyeballs. And they're like, well, this person told me to run an ad. This person told me don't run ads. Instead, go to networking events. This person told me to get a funnel up. This one person said, no, don't do funnels, do whatever, cold calls. So how do they make that decision that actually works for them?
Well, you're an entrepreneur, so you got to figure it out and run all of them. Hands down. Some people, like, you start with one. And the reason I say that is because if you don't go through all of them, you might be leaving a lot of money on the table, but just start with one. If someone said, like, I am telling you, make content every single day, less than 30 seconds. It doesn't have to be the fancy, like, in and out cuts, text, all that kind of stuff. I like what I do, but just consistently market yourself for free. Everyone has this in their pocket, shoots 4K video and has amazing sound quality. You don't have to worry about having the big DSLR cameras, the crazy lighting. You don't have to worry about that. Create content. Once you have that going and you're like, oh, I have this on a progress and I have a system now and I'm good. Cool. What else can I do? Oh, running an ad. How do I do that? Simply YouTube it. How do I run paid ads on Facebook? You know how many people, there's so many tutorials out there that I went through just curious because I was working at Billie Jean's marketing and he knows Facebook in and out, but I would go through their tutorials just for fun. And these kids are offering the same information for free. So you have your content that you're making on your own. You're posting on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Reels. Awesome. Now let's pay for ads and just see what happens. $5 a day for a week and just get the analytics of what's going to do. Now it's like creating a funnel. If you don't really need a funnel if you're not creating content and you don't have like an ad that you're running with a CTA to go to a landing page. Like, you don't need that full funnel yet. So I would start with those two, but you need to know all of them, but just start with one and get used to that,
Yeah. And I love what you said, figure it out. Like, the answers are out there. Google's out there, YouTube's out there. Like, people just get paralyzed and they don't know what to do. It's like, we'll start with something, figure it out. I love that. And that's part of being an entrepreneur. So what kind of marketing do you personally love to see in the marketplace? And what kind of marketing do you hate? You can't stand it.
Goes back to being authentic. This day and age, people can tell when you're being authentic of who you are or if you're just bullshitting. Right now on social media, this Gen Z era, wherever we're at, like, they love being detectives online. If you said something that you like, they'll find something you said 12 years ago that, like, you thought you never said, but they'll find some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, when people are they're not authentic and they're just doing it for a quick paycheck, I could read it right off the bat. I bet, Michelle, you can, especially your marketing, you can read it off the bat, but you can tell when someone's authentic. And even that extra push, it's your first time seeing them and it catches your attention. Like, this person's really cool. Let's do a deeper dive to see if they're really like this. And if you see what their social media is like and you see who they hang out with and all this kind of stuff, oh, okay, that's what I like. So being authentic versus not authentic, to me, like, it makes me cringe, honestly.
Yeah, and it's almost like authentic versus like uncomfortable. Like you can tell when someone's uncomfortable and versus like they're just straight out scamming people. I think there's a difference there too. Like someone can learn to be comfortable by practicing, like you said earlier. And then versus like the person that's just out there to scam people. I don't even know, like, do those people even exist anymore? I know there's like
But
nice
that's the thing,
scammers and all that, but like next
because
level scammers.
yeah, you made a great point. That's one thing too. I guess it's maybe not they're younger, but when I see these people, they're probably like 18, 19, and they say like how to make $1 million in 3 months, and they do Shopify or drop shipping, anything like that. I'm just curious. I always like to see, but I do a deeper dive on them, and they're just regurgitating the same content over and over on their social media. They just have a different Ferrari or a different hotel that they're staying at that say they call it their office, like pushing that pipe dream to kids that are younger than them to say, hey, I'm 18 years old and then I made $1 million company doing Shopify or whatever. You can do it too. And it's like, okay, but like how much, I just don't believe in that aspect of things. You know what I mean? I just done my research with drop shipping. There's amazing products and things and brands, but I know there's a lot of people kind of scamming and just hunting the people that are in a vulnerable spot, especially like the youth, because they don't really know.
Yeah, they want to get rich quick or
Yep.
they're in some kind of a cash crunch and they're just desperate. Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. All right. What kinds of marketing tactics have been a waste of time?
For me, a waste of time. Long form.
Long form.
Honestly, when I have made an ad, it's off. I don't run it at all anymore. But I would do that. I would make long form ads because I felt like I would miss some target points of what I'm trying to do, and I would write it all out. I would make sure it's crisp and clear of like my message, what I'm trying to do. Then I would have to have a couple of my friends help me film it. They're not familiar with the cameras and all that kind of stuff. I would have to do all my own lighting. So like the big production, so filming it and then editing it so it's amazing. So this whole process from thinking about the ad I want to run all the way to actually running it would be like a week. Okay. And then after that week, I spent money doing all this time and it just didn't perform well. And there's not much I can do about it. I can go edit some things and maybe change it or make it shorter. But that's what it was. When I made it shorter from like a 5-minute ad that hit all the points to a short ad that was very concise and just like bam, 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 click the button below, I had way more conversion on it. And I was like, oh, okay. Short form is what people want because they would rather see the point and be like, make their decision. Let's see what else this is. And then they click on it. It give them the decision compared to like, this is really boring after 2 minutes and then you lost them, you know? So
Yeah.
it's long form content for me for marketing.
And sounds like trying too hard also is a little bit in that. And like, just, yeah, I think my first ad, it took me like 2 months to try to create a script around it. And I was just like banging my head against the laptop. And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to start over and like record 60 seconds. And that was the one that worked. So
It's crazy, right? We overcomplicate it as humans of like, it has to be the best production, it has to have the best messaging, where it's like, no, if you're authentic and you just reach that person and you talk to them specifically one-on-one in front of the ad on camera, just like, hey, I know what you're going through because you're targeting them specifically. I know what you're going through. This is how I fixed it because I also am going to, I went through the same thing you're going through.
yeah,
Wow. If you want to know more about blank, blank, blank and how I fix it in 3 steps, click the button. I'll send it to you.
awesome.
Simple, you know?
Yeah, yeah, keep it simple, people.
Yeah.
Okay, do you believe in astrology? Do you care about it? Is it
Oh
important?
yeah. Oh yeah.
You do.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
How are you being serious?
I swear. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know much about it, but I believe in it 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Do you like look up your horoscope or whatever?
See, I honestly, the last couple months I haven't been, but I would usually wake up and I would read them 100%. Yeah. I would just see because I'm a very, I don't know, grounded is the right word. I'm a spiritual person, not a religious person, due to things growing up in my life. But it's to me like just the universe that we have, whatever you believe, there's a higher power. If it's anything, we're just, I don't know. But yeah, like I definitely follow astrology.
Okay. And so the reason I ask that is because a lot of people who follow me follow astrology and human design. And human design is like a system that looks at several different systems, including astrology and like the I Ching and quantum physics and all these different things, and like puts together this portrait of the energy of what you are. So are you familiar with human design at all?
Not really, no.
Okay. And I know you looked up your chart before the interview and you found out that you're a manifesting generator. You're like, I don't know what that means.
Exactly. I was like, I just want to send it to you because I was like, because I enjoy that stuff. And when I saw that link in the questions, I was like, oh, I just want to do this. And then I read it. I'm like, I don't know what any of this is. I
Yeah.
want it.
So manifesting generators. So, okay. So I'm going to like do an experiment here. So, and some of the people in my audience will know what that means. So can you go up to a random stranger and like initiate a conversation? Is that
Yeah.
easy for you?
Huh?
Okay. So that's something a manifesting generator can do. Can you do a cold call like pretty easily
Uh-huh.
to someone you don't know?
Am I selling what I know what I'm selling?
Yeah.
Like oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's totally what a manifesting generator could do. Let's see what else. Do you work like long hours and you don't really get super tired until maybe the end of the day?
Yeah. At the end, I might hang out with a friend. They'll be, hey, come to the bar. And I'm like, I need some social interaction. I'll go. And I'm just not talkative. And they're like, you look exhausted. I'm like, yeah, I am. It was a 12-hour. Like I woke up at 5 and it's late now. But yeah, 100%.
Okay, so that sounds accurate too, because I can't do any of those things, by the way. I'm a projector, which is like kind of the opposite of a manifesting generator. So like I would rather eat my own arm than make a cold call. And I've done cold calls, so I know what to compare it to. And I cannot go up to a stranger and like start a conversation. It'll die quickly. And
Yeah.
like I need to wait for an invitation before kind of like doing any kind of project, which you don't, I think you don't need to do. You can just kind of initiate it, right?
Mhm.
And it said that you're a sacral, you have a sacral authority. So do you listen to your gut a lot? Like when you make a decision, do you kind of have a gut feeling of like, yeah, this is a yes or no?
Yeah, it's one of those things I just follow through with. And I know the repercussions if I go with my gut, at least I put with my gut compared to like, damn, like if a week from like a week from now, I'm like, I wish I would have said that, like what I would have said. So I've had experience with it where it's like, no, like I'd rather take some hate in that moment, but I'm telling you how I feel in that gut moment, or making a call where it's like, we have to transition the company going this way and zig and zag. Like it's my gut. But I also do research behind it. But initially, yeah, it's 100. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And has your gut ever steered you wrong that you can recall?
Not that I can recall, but I've 100% went against my gut, and I'm like, damn it. So it goes more against it when I do. That's what stands out to me is when I do go against it, I'm like, you idiot. Like, why? Like, you knew it, but you went against it. So more examples than that, than me going for it and just being like, oh, I was not right. Not saying that I'm not perfect in the decisions I make all the time, but it's more just like when I don't follow my gut, things go wrong.
Okay, that's so interesting because like when people say follow your gut, I literally have no idea what they're talking about. I don't have a sacral authority, so it's not really in my gut. It's more like it, so it's in my spleen, and that's a whole nother thing.
Interesting.
But it's like this instant knowing of if something is healthy or not healthy. So that's really interesting. That's basically human design. It's to help people make decisions and how to like tap into their energy and their intuition so that they're using their energy efficiently. So this is super cool. Awesome. Well,
That's something I need to take more time into for myself, because I feel like if I don't know. I haven't talked about that with someone for a long time. So like when you brought that up, I was like, yeah, like that's something that really interests me, but sometimes I put on the back burner, but it's something I really do believe in. So
yeah. I think it's interesting because people do have different energy. Like you can be with someone and it's like, oh, this is a very chill energy, or you feel like with projectors, we supposedly have like this penetrating energy where we're taking in like the person, like we're like focused 100% on the person. And if that's not invited, it can come off as very jarring to the other person. They're like, whoa, So we need an invitation to like penetrate our energy. And then someone like you don't need an invitation to do that. Like, as a manifesting generator, you can just basically go up to someone and probably be very personable, very comfortable with them. And they're like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's cool. But if like I came up and tried to, penetrate someone's soul, they'd be like, what the fuck? I've tested that and it's 100% true. So.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's funny. And it's interesting how it works in business as well. So
I think that's what, when you brought it up, when you sent me that link to do the test, I thought about it for like my life direction, but when you say I'm doing that for business, that's what made me kind of open up just today. When you said that, I was like, wow, like, how can I focus this into my business now? Compared to just the lifelong of like what it is, like, oh, we're all soul and what we do with the stars, all that kind of stuff, which I still believe, but it's like, how do you capitalize on that with your business? How do you make it grow? All that kind of stuff. So that's super cool.
Exactly. Yeah. And the people who seem to be like, they're like, oh, that doesn't matter. It's like a lot of them tend to be manifesting generators, which I find interesting. I have yet to find a projector millionaire. And I'm like, I'm going to be the first one that I know of. So I have to figure out how to do that because like, as a projector, it's like a projector runs out of energy. So we actually have to manage our energy very strategically throughout the day because we get drained and tired. And it's not just, the story that we're telling ourselves, it's our actual, like, we need to rest or we need to shift and do something else, which 70-80% of the world doesn't need to do because they're energy types. They have that sacral center, so they follow their gut. They don't have to do any of that, but like projectors are 20% of the population, so we do have to do that. And someone that doesn't do that is like very bitter and they're just not effective at all, and like no one will listen to them. So it's really interesting.
Interesting. What was I gonna say? What are most millionaires, or that question, but also like, so there's the projector, then there's the manifest, like how many categories are there?
So there's 5 human design types: manifesting generator, manifester, generator, projector, reflector, which is 1% of the population. Reflectors are basically a blank slate and they just take in everybody's energy and they don't really have any energy. I know one person who's a reflector and I edited his book and I was like, that's so interesting. Like they're there to sample everyone's energy. So I don't know much about it, but most of the world is either generators or manifesting generators. And I think manifestors are like, I want to say 10%, I'm not sure on that, but they're energy types. So they can work. And that's like most of the population. So the world was not built for projectors, which is me, apparently. So we have to like navigate things differently. And we really have to take care of ourselves in a way that you guys probably don't. But I would say a lot of the people that I've talked to that are millionaires, on this interview series, I've had a manifesting generator, a manifester, and what else? I've had 2 projectors, and I think the manifester, that's a 7-figure business, and the projector, she's at like, I want to say $250,000.
Oh, nice.
And I'm not sure what the other ones are, but you can like look it up online, like people's birthday, and you can see what their type is. A lot of the people that I know, like, I think, oh gosh, I'm trying to think, I forget, but yeah, I think a lot of them are manifesting generators or
Got it. Nice to know, because I know like the only thing I ever did for like with company and business wise was like the DISC assessment.
Okay.
We get to like dominant, like, that whole DISC thing. And that's the only thing we got to do. So like when we were in like and this was at my old job. And so that's how we communicated with each other, so we would know like someone's dominant. So like if someone's not dominant, we know what, like they're an S and a C, like this is how you guys should communicate. So that's just interesting. I like the astrology aspect of it.
Yeah. And some of those tests, they're like measuring your personality or your IQ or intelligence or like the way you make decisions. And then human design is like your energy. So it's kind of intangible. It's hard to explain sometimes.
That's why I like that. That idea is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's awesome. So before we talk about your free gift, is there anything you want to leave our readers with, like maybe a mindset tip or a suggestion or advice or whatever, just on marketing?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it with this. My mom's one of my best friends, right? She uh she started a couple businesses. When I say like two, maybe like two, she's always struggled with creating content. And she's like, Kota, I need help. And that's my mom. I'm always there helping her. But she'll struggle. And for me to see her struggle, I know she's not the only mom. She's not the only dad. She's not the only thing right there. And I mean, like the next generation, like I know it's not easy to do, but it's easy to get started. I think a lot of people overcomplicate it. So I just know like the pains that like my mom goes through, or I see other people go through, like my clients and stuff. Just take that first step. Take out your phone. All you have to do is, if you're selling a product or a service, tell your story. And that's all you have to start doing. And you post it. You're on your phone, and I can almost bet you anything that you're on your phone for like at least 3-4 hours a day on social media, the average person. Like, you're really on your phone a lot. You might not think it, but that's why you got to look at it. But take that time, take that first step, and just start putting content out there. It doesn't have to be great, because it's not. It's going to suck ass in the beginning. You're not going to know what the hell you're doing, but at least you're doing it, and you'll start to become a student from when you see people's posts that are doing it professionally. Like, oh, how do I replicate it for my own? So like I always tell people, bring value and just take the first step and just start recording.
Yeah, I love that. So good. All right, tell everybody where they can find you and what is the free gift that you're offering.
Yeah, so you guys can find me everywhere at Kota Films, also which at Visionary Collective, VZNRY Collective. And the free thing I want to give you guys is a free 15-minute consultation call with me, where how I can help you jumpstart your business when it comes to creating content. And like I said before, it can be very overwhelming. It can be a lot to take in. But what I do and my company does is we help you create topics, what to talk about, what's going hot right now, what hashtags to use. We take over all your accounts, where all you have to do is we hop on a call and we create the content for that week, and you just film it. Less than 60 seconds to do each video, and that's it. So you get a 15-minute call. I'll run you step by step exactly what you need to get started.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah. And it's KOTA, right?
Yeah, KOTAFILMS. Yeah.
Awesome. And I will put a link to all of that in the video or on this page or wherever. So awesome. Thank you so much, Kota, for being on this interview and sharing your insights and your wisdom. I really appreciate it. This was a fun conversation.
I appreciate you, Michelle. Thank you for having me on. Thank you.
All right, you guys, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next interview in Unconventional Marketers.